All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Solo Amazon, man. What a fantastic week it has been. How's everybody doing? Everybody centered, ready to go? Sit up straight in your chair, silence the electronic nicotine, and let's go ahead and get airborne. What a fantastic week. What an absolute crazy week in the market. The unwashed masses assaulted Wall Street, and the elites beat them back, aided by their folks in Washington. So, and then we had Amazon earnings this week, and we're going to talk about all this stuff. So, welcome aboard. We call this trading the Death Star because this is the stock. Literally, if you watched it this week, it's taking over the world, and it just got airborne about 20 minutes, or I don't know, about an hour or so ago on another good run here. This is the only stock you need to own, period. And that might rub some of you the wrong way because you've been conditioned to think a certain way about trading and stocks and all sorts of stuff, and it's completely wrong. I had a meditation retreat this past weekend up at Delray Beach with my beautiful partner and Matt and Frankie at this place called Anatara up in Delray, and folks, and I'm reading some Dr. Joe Dispenza books. You got to unlearn a lot of things about your life, and you need to unlearn a lot of things about trading because everything you've been conditioned to believe about trading is most likely wrong. Literally, at the height of the pandemic, I brought a recycling bin in and I cleared off my bookshelf. They're all done. They're out of date. All the trading books that I kind of grew up reading and everything like that are outdated and make no sense anymore. So I'm going to talk about kind of training your mind and thinking about trading just one name. Real quick, my personal account, I got a lot going on. I have Amazon synthetic covered call. I have a regular Amazon covered call, which might get called away this afternoon. Microsoft, Mara, Nokia. I have a silver bull put spread that's looking fantastic today, along with a covered call. Tesla, and then I have a couple I need to update this. I have a couple SPX trades for today, day trades. I've been trading SPX all day. Bear call spread and times 2, and also a bull put spread. Got to make sure my slides are accurate. The information is accurate. Oh, you know what isn't on here? Apple. I also have an Apple covered call, and I'm running out of room here. Well, I told you I have an Apple covered call. We're not going to be talking about Apple today, but I disclosed it anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and get airborne then. A quick question for you. Obviously, this is Top Gun Options. I know a lot of folks, some of my strategic partners sent out emails for this brief because we haven't done a solo Amazon brief in November to October. So it's been a while. So if you're familiar with Top Gun Options, you know my background. So I want to get a quick question out of the way. Let's ground ourselves in aviation. Okay, here we go. Which fighter aircraft would you rather fly? What's this have to do with trading? Everything. Okay. Which fighter aircraft would you fly? There's your first choice. This is known as an F4 Phantom. I mean, look at that. It was a monster, man. Fast, looked cool on the ground. It was a maintenance nightmare. But take a look at that cockpit. I mean, right now, I can feel my heart racing as an F-18 pilot. I can't even stare at all this stuff. Look at that. Over 300 switches and dials in that cockpit. As you can imagine, the pilot would spend a lot of what we call heads down time looking at what? All of that crap. Isn't that incredible? He would spend a lot of time staring at exactly those steam gauges instead of heads out looking at potential MiG aircraft or AAA, anti-aircraft artillery, or God forbid a SAM, a surface-to-air missile. Matter of fact, this aircraft was so labor intensive, they threw another dude in the back seat. There are actually 2 people in this aircraft, and that guy just worked the radar and sometimes the radio. So look at that. I mean, it's insanity. I can't even. Like I said, it gives me agita. Okay. So here's your second choice. You ready for this? How about that? There's not one steam gauge in that cockpit. Look at that. This is the F-35, the Joint Strike Fighter. This, folks, is the Wonder Woman jet, man. Invisible to radar, and this jet is so smart, it actually limits the amount of information that it displays to the pilot at any given point in the flight. The jet's smart enough to go, yeah, she or he doesn't need to know this right now, so why would I tell them and inundate them with this information? Why don't I just tell them what they need to know right now? The helmet, folks, it's insane. When you look down, you don't see the floor, the cockpit. You see through it, all the sensors on the airplane. Up in the visor of this helmet are all the potential threat. It's absolute insanity. But this is how technology and the world has kind of come along. Two flat panel displays in that aircraft, not one steam gauge. Obviously, you don't have to answer this question, even though a lot of you are. You would rather fly the Joint Strike Fighter, the F-35, the Lightning II. Okay, folks, my promise. Every one of these briefs has to have a mission objective. My objective by the end of this brief is to give you an up-to-date intelligence brief, and this is called a brief. It's not called a long, so we will keep it brief. I'm going to show you the only stock you need to own, one. And again, if that does not compute to you, you need to unlearn what quote Wall Street has told you. If you learned anything this week or the past 2 weeks, you've learned that we can take on Wall Street. You're probably going to lose, but we can because I'm me. I've been to Wall Street and I built this for us. And folks, if you can't afford this one stock, the only one to own because it's a little pricey, I'm going to show you a good substitute that you can trade and that I'm going to actually probably maybe even today live load the boat on. Okay. No distractions, silence that electronic nicotine, because I swear, you've never heard what I'm about to tell you. You've never heard this. You've heard the exact opposite. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. Flew the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years. Graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School that many of you know as Top Gun, and where I was an adversary pilot. I was actually I was a good bad guy. How about that? I would train young Navy and Marine aviators before they went overseas to face threats. Some of the toughest flying in my naval career, not some of, the toughest flying was in the skies of Nevada, not the skies of Iraq. So I had an absolute blast when I was doing that. What's that have to do with trading? Everything, folks, everything. When I was a young aviator, I got commissioned as an ensign in the United States Navy. I'm going to date myself. 1991, drove down to Naval Air Station Key West and wrote a check for like 25 or 50 bucks to the USAA Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund, man. And guess what I started to recognize? That everything that I was learning as a naval aviator applied to trading, right? The internet didn't even exist. I had to call on the phone to get like quotes. But as the internet came out, I started applying everything I learned as a fighter pilot. Having a strategy, implementing tactics, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of a good or bad situation before it got worse, managing risk. Now, some of you might be sitting there looking at that picture like, this guy's going to talk to me about managing risk. Yeah. As an options trader, as a fighter pilot, I want to minimize and eliminate all known risk. Flying off the pointy end of an aircraft carrier in bad weather at night over bad guy country is dangerous enough without minimizing all the other stuff, right? So I was raised in South Jersey, Irish Catholic kid, one of six. And my parents raised me service above self. Loved the ocean, loved the beach, wanted to serve my country, loved flying, ipso fatso. I wanted to become a Navy fighter pilot. So, my dad used to sit there before he went to work in the morning in his suit, and the back of the Wall Street Journal would be sitting in my face as I'm eating my Cheerios. And, hey, Dad, what's this stuff? Well, those are stocks. And he kind of explained. I remember him using a McDonald's example. He said, well, if you go get a Happy Meal today and you own shares in McDonald's, you might make money off of that. And being an owner of it was really, really cool. So in the back of my mind, in my military career, I was always interested in finance, because you don't join the Navy to get rich. Clearly, you don't join the Navy to get rich. You join the Navy to serve your country. But when I left active duty and my very brief airline career, my first and last day of work at American Airlines was on 9/11. So I focused on my trading full time, and I was doing so well with a lot of the stuff I was doing, from strategic planning to my trading, all sorts of stuff, that I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms on the face of the planet, headquartered in the CBOT, the Chicago Board of Trade. Almost everybody's familiar with this famous intersection, Jackson and LaSalle. Those big windows right there, that was my firm, and this was what an absolute blast. When I was there, I helped build a hedge fund. I helped build the retail brokerage known as Options House. I started my own company. It was pretty cool. I was the managing director of strategy for this multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm, and I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, the CNBC for options. I remember we were going to spend $250,000 to advertise on CNBC, and they said no. You're a competitor. I'm like, that's awesome. Actually had to fly, went to Englewood Cliffs and met with the CNBC executives, and of course they ended up taking our money because we were focusing just on options. I know John and Pete Najarian from my time in Chicago, they do what they can on CNBC they kind of pay lip service to options. We were options 24/7. It was a blast. So I jokingly like to tell people that going from little old Keller, Texas, up to the Board of Trade, I felt like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. So that's why when this whole GameStop revolution happened last week and this week, I welcomed it. I love when retail traders turn the table on Wall Street. Folks, I didn't think I was, quote, the smart money. I got to Chicago and I figured out I was probably one of the most brilliant money. They ain't no different than us, folks. Matter of fact, they're maybe a little bit less than us. They would step over their own mother to make a buck. It's one of the reasons I left. I just couldn't. It's gross. Wall Street sucks. The whole attitude of I got mine and they lift the ladder up. Not a guy like me, man. Whether it was my parents or the military, you make it, you put the ladder down and you help folks out. So when I got to see when I got to Oz and pulled the curtain back, the great and wonderful Oz wasn't that great and wonderful. This ain't rocket surgery. So after having a blast in Chicago, I'm like, you know what? Fairly certain I can do this by myself. And Top Gun Options has been around for 11 years, and I have been doing this by myself, and it's been fantastic. We've trained over 10,000 folks to level the playing field against Wall Street. We can beat Wall Street. But when you have this stupid GameStop Reddit board and stuff like those flashes in the pan, they will always be put down. Do you know who is on the board of directors for Citadel? Who buys Robinhood's order flow? I'm not going to dig deep into this, but Ben Bernanke, he was the Fed chief. Janet Yellen was paid $810,000 for a keynote. Good work if you can get it. So there was no way in hell this unwashed mass of people was going to get past Ken Griffin at Citadel or Stevie Cohen and Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke. The chief legal officer at Robinhood was a former SEC commissioner. Folks, what do you think happens? There's a revolving door between SEC, FINRA, and the Treasury and Wall Street. I mean, how many Goldman Sachs heavies have been Treasury secretaries? My sister ran Dune Capital with Steve Mnuchin, who just was the Treasury secretary. So I can teach you how to level the playing field, but those type of rebellions from the unwashed masses, they're going to put down every time. I also do some charity work. Broward Sheriff's Office Advisory Council. We just donated a significant amount of money to the families of the 2 FBI agents that were killed down the street the other day. 2 FBI agents gunned down. Others were shot serving a warrant on a child porn guy. May he burn in hell. Burn in hell. That was sad. It's incredibly heartbreaking. But Broward, our advisory council, Sheriff Tony, the Broward sheriff, delivered our stuff personally because he was friends with one of the agents who was killed. I lost a sister to a drunk driver when she was a freshman at Villanova University, so I am deeply involved with MAD. And then this year, talk about putting the ladder down. This year I started my own foundation, Top Gun Fighter Foundation, to try and, we'll never fully eliminate it, but at least reduce veteran suicide. As I talked to you for an hour, one veteran put a bullet in his head or her head. One veteran on average per hour kills themselves. We've lost more at home since 2008 than we did overseas. It's a disgrace. So I'm using the good fortune I had. God or the divine blessed me last year. I'm going to help out. I'm going to try. All right. That's me. If you ever go to one of these briefs and you don't meet like the lady or the guy and they just jump into trades and this and buy my CDs or whatever they are. Run as fast as you can. I just never understood that. But anyway, that's me, and that's the last time you're going to hear all that crap. All right, here we go. Folks, Wall Street, trading, investing, it's not a charity, right? It's not the United Way of Goldman Sachs. These people will do anything to make money. So I have some shocking news, or if you've been around the block a little bit, this isn't going to shock you. Wall Street is lying to you. They've been lying to you since day one. Day one. Since you heard about investing, or maybe my phone's been blowing up for like 2 weeks. I got buddies who own restaurants in Fort Lauderdale. How do I buy GameStop? I'm like, here's how. You don't. But anyway, Wall Street is lying to you since day one. How many of you, show of hands, you can click it. How many of you have heard this? You can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? You can't. Come on, man. You can't. That was a Joe Biden channeling. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? You must diversify. Why diversification is important? The 5 steps for diversify, 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 diversify. Everybody give me a vertical head nod. I know you've heard that, and you're probably still hearing it today, live, right? Well, guess what? That's a lie. The only reason you've been told to diversify is because of that dude. Whenever you use the term broker, securities broker, aircraft broker, real estate broker, any broker, delete the word broker and insert the word what? Commissions. How many of you have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, the movie Wall Street, Boiler, whatever it is? All right, boys, pick up the phones and call the little old ladies in tennis shoes. Get them into this stock today. I just told her to get into this one. That's yesterday. Get her out of that one. Get her into this one. It's called churn. They want you in as many names and in and out of those names as possible for commissions. I think, like, to buy that 20, I sent a check for $25 in 1991 to USAA. I think the commissions were like double what I put in. What? You heard me. So over the years, what happened? Well, let's go kind of no commission, but we're going to do payment for order flow. And really, folks, if you're on Robinhood or any of these quote free commission sites, you're not the customer. You're not the customer. Citadel, SAC, they buy the order flow. They're the customer, not you. So your mom or your dad or whoever it was growing up, when they said nothing is free, they were right. But at the end of the day, folks, they want to churn your accounts. They want you in as many names as possible, right? Now, I'm very blunt and direct, as you can most likely tell. I don't have time. In the squadron, we had a saying: respectful truth over artificial harmony. So let me put it like this: diversification is for stupid people. Diversification is for people who just don't know what they're doing, right? Now let's clean that up a little bit, because that was a little direct, Wiz. All right, well, let's go with this guy. Diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who know what they're doing. Right? Right. Amazon is the only stock you need to own, period. If you had any doubt before this moment, go listen to the earnings call or go to their investor relations page, look at the numbers, and then look at their forward look. That's why I call it the Death Star. They're taking over everything. It's Amazon. Folks, you can't even, I didn't update this yet because where I got this chart hasn't updated it since earnings. This goes like this after earnings this week. Look at their annual revenue, folks. There is not another company on the face of the planet that grows at what? 30%. What was this? Year-over-year growth was like 38% for Q4. It's insane. Never in 30 years of investing have I seen these type of numbers. I guess I need to get used to it, but I still have some old stock market in me, even though I threw out all my books and I'm present. Namaste. It's insane. How about this? Amazon annual revenue by segment, North America, international. Look at AWS years ago. The new CEO, we'll talk about what happened this week, but the new CEO, Andy Jazz Hands, he started AWS. In the journal that he talked about, well, we're at Jeff's condo one time, and we were just talking about how can we have mom and pop like scale and storage and have the programming power or capabilities that big businesses have without having to buy a server rack. Then they came up with the cloud idea. Not Apple, it was Amazon. So look at this. Years ago, AWS wasn't even a profit center. It was actually a cost center. Now it is a massive profit center. Isn't that insane? How about this? Just like the word FedEx, like even if I had to go UPS something or overnight mail through the postal office, what do you say you're doing? I'll FedEx it to you. It's become an adjective. Amazon Prime has become its own kind of adjective or verb or whatever you want to say. It's like almost a national holiday now. It's insane. And again, this isn't updated yet. I wonder which way it looks. Every Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas, what does Amazon do? They own it. You ready for this number? 40% of all online sales is done by Amazon. It's insane. I've never, again, even me looking at these, I don't believe it. Now, I talked to you about doing my meditation training, and I'm present, but I'm going to go into the past. I'm going to go to me 5-10 years ago. If today me came back to me 10 years ago, he'd say, lose some weight. And then he'd say, look at this chart. Current me would black out the name Amazon. And I'd say, would you buy this stock? And I'd go, future whiz, you apparently started doing crack, because the answer is no. Why? Profit. Ladies and gentlemen, Amazon is not your father or mother stock market. That's over. I'm not kidding when I said I got rid of all those books. Look at this. Sales. Look at that. Free cash flow, profit. Do you have a problem investing in this company? If you do, you're stuck 10 years ago. You live for today. Namaste. Why? Jeff Bezos has said several things. I can't stand the guy. I love the guy. I'm bipolar with Jeff Bezos. We'll get into that in a second. He has said, I'm never going to split the stock, and I'm also never going to. What's a dividend? I don't even know what that is. No, we're never going to have a dividend. What does Jeff Bezos do with the money he makes? He spends it. He buys something. He innovates. He puts a competitor out of business. I love that. Every penny that comes in, he does something with it. I think this was the only quarter where they had like cash left over. He's like, I just can't. What do I do with it? Right? So old you would not invest in this company. Today you would be like, this is insanity, right? Okay. But seriously, don't listen to me. These are some recent screenshots I've taken from our live trade briefs. May 1st, I bought a single Jan 21 2270 call that I've been rolling short diagonals. The base call is up $51,000. Sold Amazon 3,000 calls too early last week at 122, but still made $80,000. My original Amazon synthetic call for 621 expiry, now up $145,000. Kevin, cumulative Amazon gains net out to 12,673, which is nicer than it seems since I started $6,000 in the hole before following Wiz's discipline correctly. Just insane, folks. The power of this Death Star is insane for small investors. Okay, now, as a fighter pilot, as an options trader, we always look at our threats. I'm not going to sit here and pump everything up at sunshine and lollipops. What's going to kill us? What are the risks in potentially just trading one name, a solo stock? Well, anybody ever heard of a little company called Lehman Brothers? 150-year-old company, gone to zero. How about Bear Stearns? Jimmy Cramer. I think he's Khrushchev. I think he was Khrushchev was reincarnated as Jim Cramer. He took his shoe off and he was pounding it on CNBC like, you're an idiot if you don't get in Bear Stearns. It's safe. $70, it's a steal. 2 days later, it was at zero. Oops. Pets.com. Enron. Folks, all of these stocks went to zero. A stock can go to zero. I know for a fact. I've done that at the .com boom. But if you're, I could sit here for the rest of our time and walk through the graveyard of stocks that have gone to zero. Not going to do that. What is the common theme with these examples? For example, Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers didn't own a thing. It's paper, trades and this and counterparty. Pets.com owned a URL and a stinky sock. Enron they didn't even own the building they were in, folks. They were a middleman of electricity. Let's get in here and kind of be a traffic cop and make money. What? That makes no sense. Exactly. So stocks can go to zero. That is a distinct risk. Can Amazon go to zero? Sure. Will it? It's physically impossible. Look at Amazon, Amazon Air, Amazon Prime. Drive on 95 and see an Amazon fulfillment center that's as big as an aircraft carrier. The guy's putting 3,300 satellites in the low orbit so the world gets internet coverage. He's making like an aircraft carrier in the sky. He's going to make fulfillment centers up here that the drones fly to and back from. It's insane. Can it go to zero? Yes. Will it? It's physically impossible. How about that? How about this? Miss me yet? It depends. How about political risk? I leave this slide up here because during his 4 years, there was 2 occasions where Donald Trump got up or didn't go to bed. It depends on who you believe, and did what? Jeff Bezos and Amazon is a monopoly. It should be destroyed. And the Washington Post, he's a lobby. The president took a flamethrower to Amazon. He's destroying the post office. He's screwing the post office. He is. He still is. Right? He's doing this and that. Somebody needs to look into this. And FTC and monopoly. Nothing happened. Love or hate Jeff Bezos. You know what he said when he was getting attacked? Not a word. The dude's as quiet as a church mouse. He ain't no Zuckerberg. He ain't a Tim Cook. He is quiet and does his business. Full disclosure, I flew for FedEx for about 10 months and I was miserable. Hated it. Flying from midnight to 8 a.m. It was killing me. But I have buddies that are captains there, and like 5, 6, 7 years ago, whenever it was, one of my buddies said, hey man, I just heard from corporate, Jeff Bezos just leased 5 Airbuses or whatever it was. I'm like, he's going to build his own. He's doing the Carnegie or whoever, Vanderbilt, whatever. Why am I just, he's watching the oil go out of his well, get on a truck to the railroad. He's like, why do I just own that and not the truck and the railroad cars and the railroad? Right? So, yeah. And then take a look at this. How about these things? Amazon, foreign websites, blame piracy, Missouri Center, DOJ probe, unionize. How about Jeff Bezos, the limousine liberal hypocrite? Our employees can't vote by mail to unionize because voting by mail can have fraud. What did you say? Same guy who supported mail-in voting for we won't get into that, will we? Jeff Bezos. No mail-in votes for my company. But for America, and this was in today's Wall Street Journal. Klobuchar introduces antitrust bill raising bar for technology deals. Okay. But here's the problem, folks. It's too late. What do you mean it's too late, Wiz? If they tried to break, first of all, everybody knows Standard Oil, Microsoft, IBM, AT&T. Everybody remember when Uncle Sam jumps into something. Is Uncle Sam quick? 5, 10, 15 years before they come up with like a recommendation, right? And last time I checked, the world's richest man probably has a couple attorneys on his staff. And oh, by the way, hey, Senator, did you leave this pile of cash on our dinner table or I'll go to the bathroom? And come on, folks. And even if they did break up Amazon, what happens to it? Amazon Air, it will be bigger than FedEx and UPS. Amazon Prime is bigger than Netflix. the parts are worth more than the whole. So it's like Mercury right now. You can't beat them. Davey is opening his own airports. He's building a hub in between, and there's one up in Sanford. He's building his own airports. It's insane, folks. Okay. Now, you've probably listened to me and gone, man, this guy's left and right. Exactly. I tell my members that I wear two suits here at Top Gun Options. I wear my flight suit. I'm going to tell you how I feel as an American. I think Jeff Bezos is a disgrace. The world's richest man can't pay his employees a living wage. He's a limousine liberal. Wasn't it the day of the inauguration? Dear Mr. President, Amazon stands by willing to help distribute the vaccine using our vast resources. What? What a jerk. Jeff Bezos is a jerk. Then I'm going to change and put my $10,000 Armani suit on and say, I love Jeff Bezos. I think he should fire every employee who wants to unionize. I think, but I can go Gordon Gekko and give you a great impersonation. I think Jeff Bezos is fantastic. I hope he takes over the world. Why? Because I'm a shareholder. And I'm going to teach you how you can be a synthetic shareholder, right? So I am bipolar in trading sometimes. I call this a hold your nose trade. I can't stand the guy. He literally makes my skin crawl. He looks like he's a Bond villain, right? But I don't care. I'm going to use a Gordon Gekko quote right now. You want a friend? Get a dog. I don't care. I'm going to make money, and I'm going to teach you how to make money with Amazon. All right. Now that I said here's the bad of trading a single stock, what are the benefits? Well, guess what, folks? You trade the same name, and you're going to potentially profit no matter what direction Amazon goes, up, down, or sideways. As an options trader, we can make money up, down, or sideways. Any market condition, we can potentially make money. We love movement, right, as an options trader. And if you don't even know what an option is, stay right here, because at the end, when you can become a member, we're doing 8 live options training sessions, taking people who don't even know what a stock market is, and in 8 sessions, you're going to be a steely-eyed options trader, okay? You stay focused on the news and events that impact just Amazon instead of a bunch of different stocks and ETFs. So essentially, you become an expert in Amazon, reducing the time you spend on all these different positions. So I have a buddy who is an Apple market maker. He doesn't know a stock market exists. He doesn't know the S&P 500. He doesn't know what volatility is. He knows nothing but Apple. Eats, breathes, sleeps Apple. And guess what? That's all he cares about. Well, I don't care about Amazon. I'm an Apple. That's it, folks. I use this example, and I saw Doc the other day. Can anybody tell? My plastic surgeon. I'm not that vain. He's an orthopedic, but his brother's a plastic surgeon. I met him at Starbucks 2-3 years ago, clearly before we got thrown in COVID prison. And he said, hey, Wiz, I need help trading, man. Help me out. Okay. The dude does office 8-hour days, man. Surgery center, rounds, office visits. Dude is swamped. He booted up his laptop. He spun it around in Starbucks, and I was stunned. 33 positions. The man had 33 positions in his brokerage account. You had to keep scrolling. I'm like, what the hell is going on, folks? We'll keep with solo Amazon, but I'm telling you for a fact, I do this for a living. If you have more than 5 positions, 5 to 10 positions, and you're not anchored for 8 hours a day, it's wrong. I've been doing this for 30 years, from Wall Street to retail, and I know this for a fact. 33. He tried to tell me what things were. I think that's a pot stock, and this makes breast implants. I don't know what this one. I think it's breast implants. It's some medical device company. It's really down. I'm just waiting for it to come back. What? I said, stop talking. We are going to simplify your life and your trading cockpit. It was insane. This is what his brokerage account looked like, man. I just couldn't. Like looking at this picture right now gives me agita. Looking at his brokerage account gave me agita. It's insanity, folks. You can't do that. I kind of do it. I have about 7 names. 7 to 8 names, man. And I'm glad today that most of them are going to get called away with some covered calls because I'm moving in the cash for February, man, because it's going to be ugly. Simplify your trading, folks, with solo Amazon. Now, if you're like, you know what, man, this makes sense. I know it makes sense. This is why we made it. But if you're sitting here going, you know what, I get it, but I still need a little diversification, man. Well, check this out. Amazon is a stock. It can go to zero. It's got single stock risk. What doesn't? And is a hell of a lot cheaper than Amazon? An ETF known as XLY. The XLY, man, is the consumer discretionary ETF. Take a look at that. The number one name is Amazon. So Amazon's a what, 3350 stock? XLY, geez, I don't even know what the XLY is. Let me bring up XLY on this screen. No results found. I love E-Trade. Select Spider. There we go. 172. Look at the run the XLY has had today. We'll pull it up in a second here. So if you must diversify, we will trade the XLY as well. Amazon. And then we get a little bit of what? Elon with Tesla, Home Depot, Mickey D's, can't stand Nike, can't stand Starbucks, Lowe's, Target, Booking, and TJX. Ladies and gentlemen, your problems are solved. Simplify with just trading Amazon doesn't compute with I need to diversify. There's your diversification, the XLY. Golf clap. Isn't that awesome? So how do we target Amazon and XLY for max profit? Good question. Well, step one, so we do the solo Amazon brief every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. The next one, this Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the first thing I'm going to do is establish what I call a base position. We're going to hop in that joint strike fighter. We're going to fly all the way out into the future. I think we can go out to March of 2023 right now. And I'm going to show you how we're going to establish a long all the way out there, a long position, a bullish position. By March of 2023, you ready for this? Amazon is north of $6,000. It's double where it is right now, period. Remember, Jeff Bezos said he's never going to split the stock. This might end up being like a Berkshire Hathaway stock. When my kids have taken over Top Gun Options, it's $130,000 a share or something like that. He's not going to split it, folks. So I'm going to show you how we establish a base position, right? We're going to land on the beachhead like the Marine Corps with a tactic known as either synthetic stock or a long call diagonal. We'll play around with both. If you're sitting there and you don't know what those tactics are, I'm going to teach you. That's what Top Gun Options is all about, is the training. Now, in parentheses, what do you read? With protective puts. Amazon ain't going to zero, Wiz. I know it isn't, but I could be wrong. So we're going to protect our position. I never went flying in the F-18 Hornet, folks, and climbed up the ladder and looked in the cockpit and said, hey, Chief, pull the ejection seat out. I'm not going to get shot down today. I want extra gas. Never happened, right? So you always, always, always need to have a protective put. Then what are we going to do? Once we fly out into the future and have our base position, we're going to trade what? The front months. What's a front month, Wiz? You're sitting in it, February, March, April. So technically there's two trades right there, a long-term bullish trade on Amazon and a front month. That's two. Hey, let's do some XLY spreads. Now we got three. So as you can see, these things can start building up and getting pretty busy, right? So if Amazon's going up in the front month, look at Amazon today. We're going to do some bullish spreads or buy some calls. Oh man, what if Amazon's going down? Okay, well, we'll do some bearish spreads and sell front month calls against our long. What if it's moving sideways? Folks, Amazon moved sideways for the past 3 months. Do you want to know why? I'll tell you why in a couple minutes. But we could be trading a tactic called an iron condor, right? Sideways, you can make money. It's so funny when people finally learn options. They're like, where have you been all of my life? I can make money when my stock or a stock is doing nothing. The answer is yes. Okay. So All right, let's get going. Let's bring up a brokerage account, my brokerage account, and let's start taking a look at some trades. So right now in this portfolio, this is one of my personal accounts. There's my silver, there's Amazon. I have what is called a synthetic stock position on. Okay, and I'm going to teach you what a synthetic stock position means. But let's also go to let's look at the chart first of Amazon, because this, and I was proven right this week. Not that I'm patting myself on the back, but I predicted this. You ready? Look at Amazon's chart for the past. That's a 6-month chart. So as I said, for the past 3 months, Amazon really has been dead. Why? I told you that Jeff Bezos is not an idiot. What have you heard during this pandemic? Amazon printing money. What have you also heard? We should shut Amazon down. They're destroying small businesses. Why don't we shut Amazon and Target and Walmart for 3 months and let businesses? People had pitchforks and torches. Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world, printing money. What usually I don't even know how many years I've been trading Amazon. What usually happens in November? After we give thanks for our family and our friends, some people go beat the hell out of each other to save $10 on a flat screen. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. What did you hear from Amazon? Not a word. Not a word. Christmas, not a word. Huh. Amazon usually on these events comes out the next day and says, God almighty, we printed money. They didn't say a word. And we found out this week why. They double. What was the EPS forecast? Like $7. They came in at 14. Double. I've never seen earnings this good with this stock. It was insane. Jeff Bezos, still quiet as a church mouse, but not really. You know what Jeff Bezos did? He's leaving. He's not going anywhere. There he is, the new Bond villain. Jeff Bezos exits as CEO, but his role at Amazon will likely be little changed. Right? Folks, one of the reasons Jeff Bezos said, hey, Andy Jazzy, why don't you take the reins? Because he doesn't feel like getting excoriated again by this lady. The Democrats being in charge of the House, the Senate, and the White House is not good for big tech or Bond villains like Mr. Bezos. So instead of him getting dragged up on Capitol Hill, it's going to be the new CEO. So, and he can also focus. I get it, man. Being the skipper of a ship is very busy. He should be the admiral of the battle group on the bridge with his binoculars. Let the captain of the ship run the ship. You be the admiral. That's what he's doing. He's going up a notch, but he ain't going anywhere, folks. Amazon is his, right? So I liken this to what happened years ago with a little company called Apple. Steve Jobs. Nobody can replace Steve Jobs. He's a visionary, all sorts of crap. Tim Cook. Here comes a booger eater. He's going to fail. He hasn't failed. Same thing. Jeff Bezos, innovator, this, that. So here comes a booger eater, Andy Jazzy, to take over for him. So he's not going anywhere, folks. Right? He's focusing on space. He actually was quoted as saying that. He's in this. This is a great article in the Guardian. A managerial Mephistopheles inside the mind of Jeff Bezos. He's like, I have so much. The only thing I can do with everything that I have is to go up and out. This is a great article. This is I'll put the link in the chat box. Read this. You want to get inside the mind of the guy who built and still runs Amazon? Do this and what he plans on doing. Morgan Stanley, folks, his low orbit satellite plan. Morgan Stanley said will add $295 billion to their bottom line. It's insanity, folks. This is just the FAA has already approved him being able to launch. I said this years ago. Amazon Pharma, Walgreens and CVS will be no more. You will get a text that says, I'm at the door. You're going to open the door, and the little helicopter thing flying there is going to scan your face, and it's going to drop your medicine in your hand and it's going to leave. That's what's going on, folks. I've never seen anything like it. So, oh, and by the way, and it's funny because in our solo Amazon brief of this week, I also got long Tesla. Why? How many of you have seen the series on, was it History? The Men Who Built America, Vanderbilt, Ford, Carnegie, JP Morgan. This is the Carnegies and JP Morgans now is Elon versus Jeff. And it's a space race. They're racing for space, which is funny because what happened to Elon Musk a week or two ago? He was supposed to launch something. What happened? The FAA shut him down. Elon Musk, probably closet Trump supporter. He couldn't launch. Jeff Bezos, dear Mr. New President, I'm standing by to help you. So there are politics involved. So here's what's interesting is, can we see some Amazon trades? What do you think I'm doing, man? Here's an Amazon trade that is up $36,000. How's it doing? Or no, year to date. 48 grand in Amazon trades. I have on an Amazon synthetic stock position. So I'm going to teach you how to make a synthetic stock position, because buying 100 shares or 5 or 10 shares of Amazon is very expensive. Like I told you, we're going to use the XLY as a substitute. Now, guess what I'm going to do right now as far as showing you an Amazon or XLY trade? Nothing. You ready? Why? How many of you can tell me what the most volatile month in the stock market is? What is the most volatile month in the stock market? You're sitting in it. It's February. Okay. So here is what's going, if anything, I'm going to show, February and then October. Here's what we're going to do. Nothing. Matter of fact, like I said, I hope I have a covered call over here on 200 shares of Amazon. I hope they get called away. I am predicting this for February. I don't know why these ads are on here. It's really annoying. Okay. Let me bring up the SPX over here. Folks, I'll stay here for a second. You ready for this? I might actually put a bearish XLY trade on. We'll talk about that. Look at this. This has been a monster run. This was a GameStop. Oh my God, here comes the unwashed masses. And here's the, no, they weren't. I forecasted this, folks. When this happened, I said we will bounce off the 50 and get back up to where we started. Done. Nailed it. Now, I'm also going to nail this. This is what happens seasonally. This is a fact. Nobody in this room is allowed to trade off the left side of a chart. If you have a broker that lets you trade looking at the left, let me know. I'll sign up. We trade off the right side of a chart. So while I can sit here and say for the 30 years I've done this, for the 30 Februaries I've traded, 90% of the time they're usually this. Why? November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Thanksgiving, family, go out, shop. This is fun. The fall is fun. Pumpkin spice lattes and cinnamon candles at home, put the Christmas tree up. And then what happens in January? We usually level off as we see Q4 earnings. And then what happens in February? This. That's what happens in February. I'm in a mastermind group. Everybody expects this to happen. Most of the guys that I'm talking to have made a ton of money in the past couple months. They're going to cash out and sit through February and then step back in and trade the next 10 months. Now, I reserve the right to be completely wrong. Exactly, Kat. That's a good point. February is when Christmas credit card bills are due. Great point. I could be completely wrong. This could be a different February. The Democrats want to spend like a bunch of drunken sailors, and I'm very familiar with spending like a drunken sailor. $1.9 trillion. Divided by every American isn't $1,400, but maybe we need to send more money to Pakistan for gender studies. I don't know. Now, I could be wrong. February, they could put, there's $1 trillion in stimulus that hasn't even gotten into the system yet, and we're adding another 1.9. When you have a Federal Reserve chairman who sits on a 60 Minutes interview and says, I just make money. I hit enter on a computer, or sometimes I send cash to Federal Reserve banks, but I just make it. out of thin air. Must be nice, right? Hey, Jerome Powell, next time my taxes are due, can you hit enter for me? That's a separate discussion. My point being is this: I could be wrong about February, but I'm going to stick with my aviation analogies. I would rather be on the ground wishing I was flying than in an airplane wishing and praying and hoping I was on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to teach you at Top Gun Options. I don't have FOMO. If I sit here in cash, I'm actually going to do what's called 80-20. I'm going to move 80-20, 80% cash, 20%. I am going to hold in this portfolio my Amazon synthetic stock position that on Monday I'm going to show you how to do. Okay? I am going to do that. But the rest of it, I'm going into cash. I don't have FOMO, folks. I want to be able to get out of something, right? If I'm wrong, Wiz, you were wrong. Here comes the S&P 500, rip your face off rally. What do? I get back in. Aha, you missed out on a couple percentage points. And, okay, don't be that. I was with Doc the other day. He's like, hey, I'm up 170% in this one name. In how long, Doc? A year. I'm like, get out. He's like, well, why? I'm like, what was your profit target? Or when were you going to get out of that trade for min loss or close for max profit? Folks, I'm going to teach you when we use our trade plan in our live trade briefs, we know when we're getting out before we get in. Let me get back to the market. This is why I'm not going to sit here this time and show you these long-term bullish conditions, because I think we're going to be able to pick up Amazon in a month at a discount. Haha, Wiz, you were wrong. Oh, darn. I kept my synthetic, or no, this is the portfolio with the synthetic stock. But I will show you this. XLY. So here you go. This is my synthetic stock position right there. Okay, Amazon, boom, boom, boom. I have $230,000 worth of Amazon. But synthetic stock is a great thing to do. Let's take a look at XLY, because this is our good substitute to trade. XLY has had a monster run, including today. And the S&P 500 starting to turn here. E-Trade, with their charts not available, is just great stuff. E-Trade sucks. Monster run out of the XLY. This is at a historic high. I would actually place a bear call spread to next Friday. We're going to have a little bit of coming to Jesus here. Yep, there goes the S&P 500. Woohoo! XLY. I'm going to do. This is ending. This run is ending. Now, somebody asked. I wasn't ignoring you. Let me get to it. Somebody's like, "Hey, Wiz, man, I saw analyst upgraded to 4,000. Actually, Susquehanna, which was one of my main competitors in Chicago, price target of $5,200 on Amazon. Of course, they don't give you a date. I give you dates of things. Those type of folks don't. But I think it was Sam. You had a good question. He's like, they upped the price targets to the highest was 5,200. They had blowout earnings. Why isn't the stock up? Folks, it's a Wall Street-ism. Write this down. Buy the rumor, sell the news. For the past month, actually for me, for the past 3 months, I've known Amazon was going to destroy it. Buy the rumor. So look at JP Morgan. Look at the financials. JP Morgan. This is how earnings works, folks. Look, earnings was right here. Buy the rumor, sell the news, but then you get back in. So Sam, that's what's going on right now, right? Run up into earnings, sell off, but where are you going to go? You're going to flock back to a company like Amazon that is just disgustingly printing money, right? So that's what I would do, okay? But I'm also, let me take a look at our time. I want to keep us at an hour. I would look, so Monday, in our Monday brief, we will look at a bear call spread on XLY. Man, the S&P is really falling out of bed, which is fantastic for my bearish SPX trades. These charts, man, I can't, there you go. Keep going. All right, so let me do this and then let me clean up with some questions here. So let's do that Monday, because we really need to take a look at how the weekend goes. This week was insanity. GameStop, Nokia, AMC, Dave Portnoy, the pizza review guy. Now he might be investigated by the SEC, man. This is insane. How about the one guy who was part of this pump and dump? He's like a registered investment advisor up in Massachusetts, and now the state of Massachusetts is coming after him. So A crazy week. We need to take this weekend to get our minds right. Anyway, Dave Portnoy, you guys, if you don't know who he is, you do after this week, which is funny because he said he was a man of the people. Let's do this. Because I want to keep this on timeline here. Okay, so this service is called Solo Amazon, right? Why? Because that's what we trade, and a little XLY. It's our newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options. The other live briefs I do individually are $167 a month. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you Solo Amazon for only $97 a month. Okay, that's insane. I'm going to the Panthers Predators game tonight. I guarantee I spend more than $97 on hot dogs and stale chicken fingers. That's a steal, folks. That's insane for the amount of value. I know it's underpriced, but it's kind of a gateway drug to get you into what we do here at Top Gun Options. Here's the link for it, but don't buy yet if you want a 25% discount. If you want a 25% discount, give me a couple minutes. Let me just review the service here. Well, I already showed you what our portfolio is doing year to date. This was 2020. So last 2020, $140,000 in our Solo Amazon service. And then what are we doing? Men lie, numbers don't. I will go with current. What's that? $46,000 year to date in this personal account. And like I said, Monday, on Monday, we're going to take a look at XLY. It'll be like Solo XLY. But 2020 was fantastic. It was a 6-figure year, and it was awesome. Wiz, every Monday at 2 o'clock, I work for a living, my brother. I can't attend. 80% of our members work for a living and can't attend. I send out a time-sensitive text and email alert. I stop the brief and send it out. So you're going to get it not only a text alert with the trade, they fire at the same time. Text and email fires. Sometimes I get the damn email first. And the email actually has a screenshot of the trade. So here's an example. Here's a screenshot I took of a recent Solo Amazon bull put spread that actually hit a max profit. That was pretty damn good. And then, like I said, in the email, I send out a screenshot of what's going on. There's I'm buying this leg, I'm selling this leg at this credit. Here's the max potential loss. Here's the max potential profit, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then what happens? After I close the live trade brief, the video starts to render. It takes about 30 minutes, a cup of coffee. I go for a walk. 30 minutes later, I post the replay up to the member page. So you can watch it at lunch, the kids go to bed, whenever. Over the weekend, you can catch up with the recording. Okay. Today, folks, I'm going to offer my proprietary materials, man. These are your flight manuals. These are engines, meteorology, aerodynamics. You need this. Primary, intermediate, and advanced. If you don't know what a call is, you don't know what a put is, you're going to get a manual, 3 of them. In addition to live training, I'll get to the live training in a second, but these are manual. I reread these I printed some out lately somewhere in this office. So how many of you are from New Jersey? How many of you are a political science major? Well, if you're like me, you need help with math. Let me help you with math. Wiz, you're offering this for a month for $97. I am. Your manuals, if I went to your website right now and bought the manuals, they're $197. Yeah. All right, so let's do the math. So actually, you just put $100 back in your pocket. Yep, that's exactly what I'm telling you. You went to my website right now, those manuals are almost $200. So you get the $197 manual for a month for $97. Yes, this is recorded, and I will. Hey, Alan's went to Montclair. Good for you, man. I went to Glassboro State for a summer. All right, so here's what you're going to get: access to our Solo Amazon live trade brief every Monday at 2. Okay, text and email alerts. Right on time, right on target. Those 3 skill-based manuals, and you're going to get access to our online members forum, which is called the Ready Room. The Ready Room of a fighter squadron. I learned more about how to fly and fight the F-18 in the Ready Room than I did from a book, a manual, or a video. I sat in the Ready Room. I listened to the old pilots sit there and tell their sea stories, and that's where I learned how to fly and fight so it's our online member forum, and it's just great. I need to do a better job of get in there, and because I've been swamped lately, but it's fantastic. Let me go to the site. Let me answer a couple questions here as I show you the ready room. Wiz, I got here late. I've been following your free sit reps, and let me move this out of the way. Ready room. Love your take on everything. I have a small account. Is solo Amazon realistic, or do you need to build up some? Small equals $10,000. Technically, that isn't a small account. So let's be very clear about something. I do not give individual investment advice. I am here to train you how to trade options. You should open a paper trading account, get 100 grand in monopoly money, and learn to trade like that. And then before you put any real capital at risk, you always, always, always should consult a registered investment advisor or broker dealer. So $10,000, I'd love to meet you, man, and have a drink or something like that. But Sid, I don't know your personal risk tolerances and stuff like that. So when I trade in these briefs, I'm showing you what I'm doing. I'm not, especially since I have a larger account. If I'm doing 20 contracts on something, maybe you only do one. Sid, that a $10,000 account is pretty. It's not that small. It's a hell of a lot more than I started trading with. So solo Amazon, $97 a month is an investment. And Sid, you can definitely learn how to trade XLY. That's what a lot of folks do. They do the XLY trades, which are a little cheaper, and then kind of fleet up to the solo Amazon service. Does that make sense? So absolutely. So Andrew, I think hopefully that just answered your question as well. What size account do you need to make sense? Folks, to open a brokerage account, you only need $1,000. I think E-Trade's $1,000, Tradier's $1,000. I think to trade on margin, you need $2,000. So it's Dan, do we get access to the ready room with solo? Absolutely. So here's the ready room right here, where we meet and we talk through all this stuff. Got the chef from TD Ameritrade, how to understand the numbers on spreads, replays, synthetic, CSX, synthetic stock. So this is a great forum. If you're new, you can get in here and interact with your fellow members. So yes, solo Amazon, you get access to this ready room. Hold on, I'll give you the link for the 25% discount. Let me finish, man. I love that everybody's demanding the discount. Parmar, I think you're in this brief today, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Made 200 grand in Amazon on 20 call contracts. Kevin, Amazon synthetic stock, late to enter, up 200%, paid 8, now up to 24. So there's an example, guys. Somebody who had 8 and it's at 24. Now, let me put my attorney hat on. It can go to 0. I mean, there ain't no pain without gain, folks. So Kevin did that, but 8 could go to 0, but in his case, 8 went to 24. Diane, single contract on Amazon, 70 grand. Scott, hey Wiz, up 20K in 2 September and 2 October Amazon calls this week. I have never been there. Patience, persistence. Thanks, TGO. Dennis, Wiz, update on my Amazon synthetic call for June 21 expiration from Solo. It's no longer up 100 grand on one contract. It's now up 127 on one contract. My. Andrew, I'm at E-Trade, and they have a good paper trading platform. They're all the brokers are kind of having problems recently, but I use E-Trade. I can give you a link if you need a link to open an E-Trade account, and you can get our special discount. Let me give you that now before I forget. It's etrade.com/TopGun. etrade.com/Top Gun. That's easy. And they have a very good paper trading capability. So look in the chat box and I'll give you the link here. E-Trade, it's easy to remember, etrade.com/TopGun. So there you go. That's in the chat box right there. Okay, I will get you the link right now. So today I will offer you a 25% discount if you want to do an annual membership. TopGunOptions.com/solo annual. So I'll give you the links to that as well. So here we go. Unlike Full Throttle, I don't limit the number of people in here because it really hasn't turned into a shit show. Here's the $97 a month offer. Okay, let me give you the link to that. Copy, paste. Yeah, you get the manuals, man. You get $100 back in your pocket. Yes, it is. Trust me, I'm a businessman. So when my marketing team's like, I'm like that math. I get it. I'm a political science major. That doesn't make sense. They're like, it's called an irresistible offer. I'm like, it's also math that's not working. But anyway, here's the annual link. TopGunOptions.com/solo annual. Low fuel warning. There we go. Here's the soul. My plug wasn't plugged in. Here is the annual. If you want a 25% discount, I'll hook you up today with that. And yeah, you get them yeah, it's a better deal. Okay. Wiz, is it possible to use synthetic positions with XLY as a proxy for Amazon? SP, great question. Of course it is. Yes, that's what we're going to cover on Monday at 2 p.m. At Monday at 2 p.m., let me take a look at some of my SPX trades over here. Monday at 2 p.m., I am going to show, I will do, well, we'll see if we're going to do a long-term bullish SPX, I'm sorry, XLY trade. We're going to do a bear call spread. But yes, you can do a synthetic stock on XLY. It's a great question. You can do synthetic stock on anything as long as it has options. So good question. Yes, we're absolutely going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in my personal account, man. I think that's a great tactic. Because the one of our 500-pound heads, one of our members over in our private investment clubs said that he in 2020 the XLY blew away his Amazon performance. Let's go 1 year. Apparently, the XLY outperformed his Amazon, because remember, XLY kept going up, and Amazon did what? Quiet as a church mouse during this period of time, as XLY did this. So I like that. I mean, is this the new normal? Does Jeff Bezos stay quiet as a church mouse because he's printing money? I don't know. I think that's another reason Jeff Bezos left, is because he is the world's richest man, and it does kind of look bad when his employees are striking and they have no PPE protection or anything like that. He kind of looks like a schmuck. So my Amazon position over here, performance year to date. This one is up 30. The long stock is up 38 grand in this portfolio, and 46. 38 plus 46. 38 plus 46 equals, there you go. There's current gains in Amazon, about $85,000. Chris, XLY has other components which are in sector stronger than Amazon right now. Chris, that is a great way to say that. Very well done here. Werner, what reason that you do not make a bear XLY bear call spread today, 12 or 12 to 21? Werner, because it's 7 minutes after the brief was supposed to end, and I'll do it on Monday. I'm not rushing through a trade in 3 minutes to squeeze something in. So no, we're not going to do that. We'll do it on Monday. I'll do it on Monday for all of our new members. How about that? There you go. There's your irresistible offer. So, okay, it's not the weekend. No, you could do one today. Werner, I just don't have time. I went 8 over. I like keeping people on time, man. I like putting a bomb through a window to the minute, and we're late. Okay, so all right, guys. TopGunOptions.com/solo annual. That's where you can go and get your 25% discount on an annual membership. Now, real quick, if you're already bought, hopefully I should have said this first. I feel like the Flex Seal guy, but wait, there's more. Here's the more. After you purchase, there's going to be a thing like, hey, do you want the full throttle training? Yes. The full throttle training is the 8 live sessions. I might be doing them at the end of the month. I haven't decided yet. I might go scan, but I don't know. We'll see. Full throttle training. Hey, let me show you what they are. It's this. If you're sitting here going, this is fantastic, I don't know what the hell an option is. Full throttle training. Session 1, this is the damn market, man. Session 2, this is what an option is, a building block approach. Thank God for the United States Navy. I'm going to take a building block approach, take you up the option steps. And folks, I do these every well, not every, 4 weeks, Tuesday and Thursday night. 7 o'clock, I grab a bottle of wine and I sit here and we go, man. It's not during market hours, it's at night. So we're hanging out with a glass of wine and we learn everything. It's $195, folks. It's insane. I got buddies, they're not really buddies, but they're still selling these like DVD. I didn't even know DVDs still exist or CDs. Like, buy my $5,000 options training. It's insane. It's, I charge for the damn content and trading. That the education, the training should be free almost. It is $195. All right, guys, Solo Amazon, newest service. It ain't $167 a month. It's only going to be $97 a month. If you go to solo-amazon-monthly, do me a favor, even if you didn't learn anything today, and if you didn't, I failed. Simplify your trading cockpit, folks. Look at that, man. I didn't ignore your comments, but some of you, when I did the 33 positions, guys, I got a couple, oh, that's me, or oh my God, you're right. I know I'm right. I do this for a living. I've seen it. I've seen it. Doc was the worst. The 33 positions was the worst I've ever seen in my career. But I've seen 15, 20. It's insane. Folks, when I was at that trading firm in Chicago, we had an analyst, a research department. Like, one dude covered one name his entire career. And sometimes he even got stuff wrong. Like, oh man, I got those earnings wrong. I'm like, this is all you do and you got it. How can you, as a retail trader, sit here and trade 15 names? You can't. Simplify your trading cockpit with Amazon and XLY with our awesome brand new service called Solo Amazon. Okay? Yes, I will. Here's where the replay will be. I'll give it to you right now instead of waiting for the email, because some people said they got in late. Here is the replay page. It's easy to remember. This isn't the replay. I'm still live right now. go.topgunoptions.com/solo replay. Okay, so if you got here late, the old one, when did we do that? I think in November. You can go watch the old one. I remember that one too. Look at that. In that day, look at this. Oh yeah, that's the day that it broke 3,000. I made $7,500 that day just buying some calls. What a great day that was. Mark, 28 positions. Shoot me. So, yeah, great weekend. You too. There are too many fraudsters. SP, I got you, man. I, I trust me. I've been out there. When I was at that firm in Chicago, we wanted to buy a training firm because we built Options House, and we're like, hey, we need like a training arm, right? Invest Tools and Thinkorswim jumped in bed. Optionetics and Options, whatever it was called. What did they end up doing? I ended up doing due diligence on all these I don't do financial education. I do financial training. Training gives you a skill. Fighter pilots are trained, doctors are trained, attorneys are trained, plumbers are trained. How many of you have said, I could fix this toilet? And you call a plumber. So I did due diligence on a lot of so-called financial education companies, and most of those people should be in jail or broke. So we built our own. That's why I built the Options News Network. It was fantastic. And then after, no offense to anybody from Chicago, I'm a beach guy. I woke up on the beach, not like a homeless guy. Stayed at the beach this week after my meditation thing, and I need an ocean. I need a beach. Lake Michigan ain't a beach. So after 3 years in Chicago and February in Chicago, I remember walking from Union Station to the Board of Trade, and it was like a survival situation. I'm like, done. So, but yeah, okay, and yeah, on the replay page right here, you can click one of the buttons here, like, hey, Solo Amazon Monthly or Solo Amazon Annual. But I'll get the replay up here shortly. Okay, Brian, you're a master plumber. Sweet. Jonathan, namaste to you as well, my brother. Jose, hey Wiz, how do you see silver? I saw that you have it in your portfolio. I do have it in my portfolio. This is Solo Amazon. It's not Solo Silver, but I'm having a good day with there's a silver bull put spread for $5,700 and some short calls. If you want to join the other services so you can find out about silver, go ahead and join those. So, namaste, Vanessa. Yes, yes, no, I'm a clinician and well-trained. Okay, awesome. All right, folks, good. The links are in the chat box, folks. I just put the link in the chat box for the replay page. the $97 a month deal, and then this is obviously the best deal. I'm no rocket surgeon, but if I can save 25% on something, as a businessman, I'd rather you do month to month because I make more money. As a bro and a friend, do the annual, and you save some money. Sam, please read your question above. What's your question above? I don't have time, Sam, to go up and read your question above, man. I thought I answered one of your questions. What's your question? And then I got to get going. Retype it. If it's the one about why is Amazon not going up after earnings, I answered that. Buy the rumor, sell the news. It will go up. It's going to be a $6,000 stock in about a year or two. So it's going up. Is that your question? Okay, guys, I got to go. I got to trade SPX. I will see many of you. My phone's buzzing like crazy, which means we got a lot of new members, which is fantastic. So I'll see you Monday in our solo Amazon brief. Make sure you, when you get on board, start watching the Full Throttle training. Underneath member content, click on Full Throttle, and you can go watch the previous 8 training sessions that we did back in like November or something like that. They're still current, folks. A double vertical is a double vertical 10 years from now and 10 years ago. So what's going on right now is changing. So that's why I do once a quarter, I do the Full Throttle briefs. And do me a favor, folks, watch the Getting Started video. People end up clogging support with a bunch of questions that are answered. This is why it's here. Let me give you this link. If you just purchased, please watch Getting Started, and you can not clog support with any questions. Okay, there it is. Anything else? Any other questions, comments, smart remarks, or oh, by the ways? Sam, I answered your question about the price target and why it's not moving up. Please watch the replay, Sam. I answered it and not going to take up anybody else's time. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Namaste. Have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday at 2 p.m. God bless. We'll see you. The replay will be up in about 30 minutes on the replay page. God bless.